Hey everyone, this is Tom and welcome to another edition of Saturday Sketching. For this project, you'll need paper, pencils, a good eraser, and a ruler. Today we're going to be working on a seasonal triptych. But what is a triptych? A triptych is 3 separate panels displayed together side by side to create a full picture. We're going to be working together to create a time-lapse triptych that represents a transition from winter to spring, featuring a little snowman. So let's get to work. Welcome back again to our third and final section of our triptych piece. We have our new page set up with our grid ready to go. We have our original 2 drawings right here next to us that we can look at for reference. And we're going to get ready to move on to the next step. So what we'll do now is, like last time and the time before that, we'll start with the snowman, or what's left of him anyway. So let's start there. So this time around, the important thing to focus on is the bottom of where the snowman was standing, because that's sort of going to ground out the rest of the more abstract elements of it. He's going to be so melted at this point that he's not even going to be close to resembling what he was in the first drawing. So what we're going to do is focus on the bottom and work our way up to some degree. So with our melted snowman in hand, let's start down at the bottom. We really want to spread this out pretty far. He's pretty melted at this point. So we really want to show that down here. You really don't want to bring him up too high because there isn't much left. Now for the second element, I say element a lot in these videos. I'm not really sure why, but I find it a useful word to describe what I'm drawing. Anyway, so the second mound of snow. Hope nobody minds my overuse of the word element. Now that I've pointed it out, I probably won't say it as much, but it's fine. That's probably why I pointed it out in the first place. Yeah, so this is all starting to pile up in a sad sort of way. And this will be what used to be his head. Not much of a snowman, I know. It probably doesn't look like much to you, but next to the other 3 images, it's, you know, it works pretty well as melted snow. And I'm going to have his hat kind of resting over here. I was going to have it fall off completely, but you want to sort of keep it towards the top so when people look at it, they can sort of figure out like where his head used to be and how it got to be where it is now. You know, you want to keep some consistent elements, again, with the smudge. Yeah, let's have these eyes drooping down all the way down here. Let me fix that one. There we go. Have the carrot down all the way down there. The great thing about it being a melted snowman is that it's so abstract, you can really do anything with it. Not anything, you still want it to look pretty. You want it to look like it used to be in some sort of formation, but it's not really anymore. So all these elements can come down here like that. Now the fun thing that we're going to add here on top, I thought that might be a good signifier of our, well, first let's get rid of some of these. We don't need this anymore anyway. Covering our snowman. Hopefully you drew your grids a lot lighter than I did so that it's a little bit easier, you know, get the ghosts of those lines sticking around. I sometimes have to worry about that. But I'll take some of this off here. What I thought would be fun to add to the top of the snowman, right in the center of where our drawing is, I'm gonna add a little flower to show that even though our snowman has fallen, in his place, something nice and pretty is growing. Again, it doesn't make a ton of logical sense, but we're not here to draw logic, okay? We're here to draw fun things. So we're doing that instead. Okay, so I thought that would be pretty fun. So yeah, we got a little flower going on there. That's pretty good. Okay, now let's make the puddle underneath this guy a lot bigger. So we're gonna bring the line down to here, and then I'm gonna curve it again. Try to keep the lines as close together as you can, because the way the perspective works, everything's pretty close together. So now it looks like this puddle's really taking up a lot of space. I want it to come all the way across the page like that. And you can sort of draw some lines to show like a reflection or something if you want. You don't have to do that. That just makes it a little bit more interesting, I guess. It's up to you. I'm gonna leave it blank so that nobody feels compelled to do that. Now from here, I think we'll move on to our tree. Again, you want to sort of keep it close and as consistent as you possibly can. Draw a little line to sort of show where that is. And then keep it close to you and just sort of eyeball it again. Or, as I mentioned in the last video, you're welcome to take it to a window and, you know, trace it from there. You know, you put this paper on top of this one and you should be able to see through if the sun is bright enough. But what we're going to do here is interesting. We're going to leave the tops of those branches open. Because the idea is that things are going to be blossoming now. Or, you know, starting to or whatever. And, you know, to do an image like this professionally, you know, you want to keep it as consistent as you possibly can. But since we're just doing it for the fun of it now, you know, we're just going to do it this way. See, you know, if you look at all of my drawings side by side, they're not going to look completely accurate to each other. But, you know, you sort of get the idea of it when you're looking at it, that this is the tree that was in the last one. Like, you know, it's not going to be hard for people to connect the dots. But if you decide to do things like this on a more complex level, you know, consistency is extremely important. But this is a good way to sort of get an understanding of what this sort of project would look like and how to do it. Okay, so now we're going to take these sort of tree-like elements and we're going to expand them. So there's no method to this. It's just sort of scribbling. You can go over it actually a second time and that makes it look even better. Again, I think I mentioned in the first video, I love drawing trees because in nature, a lot of things aren't exactly perfect straight lines or perfectly round shapes or things like that. There's a lot of scribbly looking lines you can do to make things look real, and they still do look pretty real. So that it really makes things very easy. We'll add a bit more. Maybe we'll add some more drops. And just like with the snowman, the puddles are really starting to build up, take up a lot of space. Any snow that was left behind doesn't really stick. There's not much snow left. You know, that's probably for the best. And we're going to take this mound here and expand it out. There we go. Add some more grass over here. I'm going to show that's really starting to change. Okay, as you can see, we're starting to get some real dramatic shifts going on here. And some more tree elements. Okay, now to the left side. Once again, we're going to draw our little pond here. This will be fun, I think, because we're going to do something a little interesting here. Now for this, I'm actually going to draw some water splashing up. And we're going to have our little fish guy. That's terrible. What was I thinking there? That was awful. Sorry about that, everyone. This time, actually, you know what? Let's give him a little smile. Because he's happy that the ice has melted. And now we're going to have him looking forward instead of that way. Draw a couple lines to show him getting out of there. Jumping high up in the air. There we go. Maybe I'll bring this line down a bit. Make them more consistent with our original drawing. Okay, and then last but not least, actually, you know what we can do here now is add another patch where the ice is melting. Have some more grass coming out of there. So we want to show that things are, you know, changing out. And last but not least, we're going to have our clouds disperse almost completely. They're still there, but for the most part, the sun is out. This one you might want to grab like a bottle cap or something, make it a more consistent line, a more consistent circle, I should say. I don't know, let's see what I have here. Yeah, something like a bottle cap or something. Just trace around it. It's a little hack I learned. Make sure it doesn't move too much. It's not going to be perfect because, you know, you got to go all the way around. But you can sort of get the gist of where the circle needs to be. And you can change some of these elements too to make it, see, yeah, elements again, to make it work a little better. Add some rays coming out of the sun. And there you go, spring has sprung. Now, what I'm gonna do is erase the rest of this grid. You might wanna go back to your older drawings and erase those grids as well, just to keep everything consistent. Okay, there we have it, our melted snowman. Voila. Now when you take all three drawings together, you're going to put them side by side, and it should show you the transition from winter to spring. And it should look something like this. So I know it's hard to kind of see the big picture in the middle of everything while you're working on it, but as you can see, it came out pretty consistent. Everything kind of transitions in a sort of consistent way, sort of like animation almost. But together they make a pretty cohesive whole, and they represent a pretty great celebration of the season to come. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I know I certainly did. It's something different, you know, not what we're used to. And yeah, join us on the 27th for a little Q&A. I'm going to be going on Zoom and answering some questions, anything art related that you may have. So feel free to join us for that. In the meantime, I will see you on the next Saturday sketching. Thanks for joining us, and take care.